Yeah! Nothing like wah to bring out just as much noise as possible. We are going to do some more wah techniques. I taught a little song, some of you might know, a little Enter Sandman solo. And in that song, there's, you know, some punctuation with the wah. Some kind of vowel, vocal-like sounds that you can get with it. So what we're going to go over is some funk, some ways to get the wah to incorporate and not just use it as kind of what you normally thing going, but ways you can use it to kind of get different sounds and add different textures to what you're playing. So let's check it out. Okay, so the first thing we're going to go over, this is a full tone Clyde wah, blah blah blah, I've told you all about it before. But I'm going to use an example of a tune you guys are probably familiar with. And I'm going to show you how to accent with the wah. So it kind of starts out something like... Now on the first couple notes, is you'll notice when I strike the note with the guitar, I'm going to rock forward. Right, so you got that. So as I'm striking the note, when I first hit it, I'm back in the bass position and I'm rolling it forward, so it's... So when I strike the note is when I'm kind of pressing it down. Now if I'm holding on the note for a while like this one, I have time to rock it forward, so I got right, so that's one of the ways you can do it. Now, typical of the 60s car chase TV scenes, you got the... Right, so I'm going to do the Hendrix chord, which you can't see, but I'll describe it. I'm going to be on with my second finger, 7th fret of the A string. First finger is on the 6th fret of the D string. Third finger is on the 7th fret of the G. My pinky is on the 8th fret of the B. It's that Hendrix chord that everybody knows. Right, so what we're going to do is... Right, so when I hit the chord, I'm going to be rocking it forward. Now, the palm muting I'm doing, I'm just, I'm muting with my palm and using my pick over the strings. So I'm getting a rhythm going with my mutes, and then I'm getting my accent, my real punch when I... So we got... Now you can change that up by incorporating, I'm going to use that same chord, but I'm going to incorporate the 7th and the 5th fret of the E, A, and D string. So it's right out of that pentatonic. And E minor pentatonic. Because I'm using that Hendrix chord. Right, E minor pentatonic. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to accent with different notes as I'm doing that same chord. Right, so you kind of see what I'm doing. I'm accenting with that pedal. And what you can do is... What I'm doing there is I'm bending up 14 on the G string, and I have my hand on the B string, 15th fret as well, and I'm hitting those two strings together. But as I'm taking a while to bend up to pitch, so as I'm bending up to pitch, I'm rocking the wah forward. Right? So now I'm going to go and I'm going to show you what my playing hand looks like, and you can kind of hear what's going on with the wah. So as I'm back, it's that real bassy sound. As you go forward, you get more of that high end and that hiss sound. So it's basically, it's an EQ pot that your foot is just controlling, you know? Okay, so let's check out some playing ideas you can do with that, and then you'll hear what I'm doing with the wah. Alright, so now I'll show you what I was doing with my fretting hand. So we got that chord I was telling you about. We got 7, 6, 7, 8. And my muting that I was doing, sorry for the noise, it's you know, bright lights and single coil pickups make for great noise. So anyways, we got, right? So that's just rocking the pedal forwards and backwards, and all I'm doing is muting with this hand. I'm also releasing the pressure on this hand. Right, that's, I'm just going up to E minor pentatonic, first position. So in a lot of funk, you know, they do chords and they have a really good chord vocabulary, but a lot of it is just picking, they're vamping on one chord. We'll take this Hendrix chord, again in E, and then they're just vamping on, like, say, that chord, and then punching in with notes right out of the pentatonic scale. You can add the chromatic. Right, so that's just 5, 6, 7. Right out of that. Right on that E note. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to vamp on this chord and just pull right out of the E minor pentatonic positions. So that right there is I'm just coming in on that 15th fret B and E. And then I'm going to go 15 on the high E, 14 on the B. That's 14 on the B to 12 on the G. So you got... Right? So we got... So you can also slide into chords. Right, now now what we're doing on the Inner Sandman solo that we were showing you earlier is, let me get back down to the foot here. Woo! And you know, you got to keep it 80s metal and have the ripped knee. Very important. All right, so watch my foot. You guys will be familiar with how the song sounds. So we got. Arches. Right, so one more time. So he's just kind of using it in tempo, kind of rocking with the tempo, but when he does his bends, right? And then we got sliding into a chord, sliding back, sliding into one. So you guys can refer back to the video I did with Marty for the actual notes, but I'm just wanting to show you like what the wah is doing. So we got, and then right. So on those notes, he really wants to accent. We got the. Right, so those are ways that you can accent some of your solos. You know, you can always check Joe Satriani. He's the master of the, you know, the vocal swell. But like, just for instance, we'll do an A minor pentatonic first position riff. Right, so you can see as I'm hitting those notes I wanted to accent, I'm really punching in. So that is kind of the techniques that you can use with the wah-wah pedal. Also, you know, you can mess around with putting your distortion pedal in front of the wah or behind the wah. It has a dramatic effect on the sound of the wah, whether you want the signal going into it really distorted already, or you want, you know, the wah to be first and then being distorted afterwards. It really makes a difference in the tone. Also, when you use like old fuzz pedals to keep the wahs in front of the fuzz pedal in front of the wah, makes a good, you know, sound difference as well. So those are the things to think about when you're setting up your pedal board. I kind of like the sound of it behind with these types of pedals. I put the fuzz in front, but you know, it's all just up to you and your personal preference. But get used to, you know, doing that. You can also do, you know, faster picked runs when you do that kind of stuff. Right, so that's without. You know, it can kind of sound like a complete cacophony of sound, but it's kind of fun for a different technique to kick on the wall when you're doing some sped up stuff. It tends to work a little bit clearer when you switch onto the neck pickup and maybe do the higher register frets. So that is some stuff to think about with the wah-wah. Check it out. Get one. That's always a good pedal to have, you know. It's one of those other tricks in your bag. Don't overuse it, but it can be really effective. Listen to songs, you know, like I was saying, listen to Hendrix. He's amazing with his wah. Kind of the guy to put it on the map. Joe Satriani is really, he's incredible with it. I mean, he really makes it a vocal quality. Then you get your players like the Michael Shankers, who used to be in the Scorpions. He's in his own group as well. But he does kind of just a cracked wah sound. So when you're going into a lead, you know, rather than just that kind of a thing, he cracks his on a little bit. You know, and you can find your sweet spot of wherever you like that sound. Uli Roth, another incredible guitar player that was kind of predates Yngwie, but is just kind of the same vein, that classical, but really amazing with the wah and his bends, and really connects bending and his vibrato and everything with the wah. So I really suggest you listen to those players and get an idea of what you can really accomplish using a wah, because it can be a really effective tool if you use it right, you know, not just some kind of aggro excuse. Which is awesome, especially if you're, you know, doing some soundtrack for like a groovy 60s car chase or something. But that kind of sound has been done so much that it's nice to incorporate it, you know, in your playing to where it just accents melody lines that you're playing. So give both of those techniques a shot and have some fun with it. All right, catch you next time.